When we see news about refugee crises, the story often ends at the border. But what happens after that, once the journey is over? Well, it turns out there's this massive, almost hidden system that kicks into gear to manage their new lives. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain on what one academic source calls the refugee integration industry.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll break down what this industry even is. Then we'll dig into this core conflict between helping people and, well, the market. After that, we'll look at two real-world examples, Germany and Turkey, to see how this plays out. We'll explore the human side of things with 4 distinct models. And we'll wrap up by asking, is there a better recipe for all of this?
So, first up, an industry of integration. This whole thing starts with a really basic human need, right? The need to find your place, to belong, to contribute. But what's happened is that a giant, complex system has sprung up around that simple need, and that's what we're going to unpack. And this quote right here really nails it. It's the perfect starting point. The path to truly becoming part of a new community, to feeling at home, so much of that begins with a job. And we're not just talking about a paycheck. This is about dignity. It's about purpose. It's about building connections. But of course, getting that job is way easier said than done. And that's how this whole refugee integration industry came to be. Just picture this huge, sprawling network of governments, nonprofits, private companies, all of them playing a role in the process of getting refugees settled and into the workforce. Okay, and that brings us to the real heart of the matter. Because inside this industry, there's this constant, fundamental conflict, a real push and pull between two totally different goals. See, on one side, you've got humanitarianism. That's the voice of compassion, the moral obligation to care for people who are fleeing danger. But on the other side, you've got this incredibly powerful force, market logic. And that's all about economic efficiency, filling labor shortages, and doing what's best for employers and the state's bottom line. So what happens when you have those two forces in a constant tug of war? Well, that's the absolute crucial point. You get a system that can lead to completely different outcomes for different people. For some, it's a lifeline. But for others, it can be a deeply dehumanizing experience. So, theory is one thing, but what does this actually look like on the ground? To get a feel for that, we're going to compare two major countries that host a lot of refugees, Germany and Turkey, and what the source calls their very different industrial recipes. First up is Turkey, and you just have to let this number sink in. We're talking about the largest registered refugee population in the entire world. For a lot of people, Turkey was supposed to be a temporary stop on the way to Europe, but it's become a long-term home, which creates its own unique set of challenges. Now, let's flip to Germany. It's a totally different world. As a high-income nation, Germany has invested a staggering amount of money into creating a structured system. I mean, look at that number. Over 43 billion euros in just 3 years. That's building a very different kind of machine. And this chart just lays out those different recipes so clearly. Germany is all about structure, formal processes, top-down coordination, with the government, unions, and companies all trying to work in sync. Turkey, on the other hand, is much more fragmented, more reactive. NGOs often have to step in and fill the gaps, and most refugees end up working in the informal economy. Okay, so we've got these two different recipes. What are the actual results for people? How do these systems truly affect the lives and the dignity of the very people they're supposed to be helping? Well, to help us think about that, the source gives us this really fascinating framework of 4 different models. You could almost think of it as a spectrum, running all the way from dehumanizing on one end to truly humanizing on the other. Let's walk through them. So at the very bottom of the scale is indifference. This is where refugees are basically just treated like an unregulated, disposable labor force. We see a lot of this in Turkey's informal economy. A step up from that is assimilation, which is the main model in Germany. Here, the pressure is really on refugees to just fit in, to conform to the dominant culture. Then we get to integration. This is better. It's where you see groups like trade unions in Germany actually providing real support. And at the very top, the ideal, is multiculturalism. This is rare, but it's where refugees are treated as active partners, co-creating their own futures. And here's the kicker. Even with all those differences, Germany with its structure and money, Turkey with its more hands-off approach, both systems can end up in the same trap. Both can put their own economic needs and political goals ahead of the actual dignity and choices of refugees. So, all of this really pushes us to ask a tough question. If the current recipes have these kinds of flaws, how do we make them better? What's the real takeaway here? When you boil it all down, the single biggest takeaway is this.
Too often, the recipes we use are driven by the demands of the market, filling jobs, growing the economy, instead of being guided by a genuine commitment to social justice.
And you can see exactly what gets lost. There's no real focus on giving refugees agency, on giving them a choice in their own future. Their diverse skills and individual needs get overlooked. It becomes a one-way street, assimilate or else, instead of a two-way process where everyone adapts and learns from each other. And that leaves us with this final, really powerful question. It's a challenge, really. A challenge to imagine a totally different way of doing things. To ask ourselves, what would a recipe for true integration actually look like? One that's built from the ground up on social justice, human dignity, and gives people real agency in building their own new lives.